Hey everyone, and welcome to Tat Talks. I am your girl Tat. Well, my full name is actually Tatiana, but you guys can call me Tat. Welcome if you guys are new to my channel, and hello again to those who are not new to my channel. This is a series I wanted to start just to talk about life. So for today's first episode, I guess, it's going to be my experience with dropping out of school. I did ask on my Instagram and my Facebook to DM me some questions because I was really struggling on how to start this video, but we are now here. So I want to say thank you guys for those who sent me messages. This would be my third time dropping out of a program for post-secondary school. I guess when I look back, I really struggled with trying to figure out what I want to do. From the longest time, I believe I was 9 years old, I was set on being a chef, and I would do all these trainings. Like, my electives were based on cooking, and I was really passionate about it. Somewhere along the lines, I was feeling unsure, and then one day at work, some psychic came in and told me, my young self, my young, naive self, that wasn't something I was going to be doing. I took her advice and I decided that that's not what I want to do. I know. And then I was struggling because this all happened when I have to apply for school, and I'm like, I don't know what I want to do. And my parents were really dead on of not giving me a year off school because, you know, they say if you start working and making money, you're not going to want to go back to school. Fine. So I'm like, I don't know what I want to do. My guidance counselors try to help me figure out what I enjoy doing. I liked helping people. Why not do something like that? And they said, okay, social work. But I'm like, oh, social work. I'm reading about it in like college and university pamphlets, and I'm like, okay, sure. And you know, my guidance counselor was just dead on like, oh, social work because it makes a lot of money. So I'm like, okay, let's do it. I went to university. I did a year of university and I hated it. I disliked the school. The only thing I really liked about it was my friends and the people I had met. The program itself, there was just one class based on social work and the rest was just general electives. I'm like, man, I thought I was gonna be learning things I actually needed to learn. I didn't really care about history. After the first semester, I was like, man, like, I don't really know if this is what I want to do. I'm not really liking the school. My friend had came back from college herself because she had dropped out. Like, she basically explained everything she was feeling, and I realized that that's what I was feeling too. But she definitely had it far worse. I told my parents I want to drop out. But that's not what I meant. I meant I just wanted to switch my program. But when I said drop out, all hell broke loose. They're like, you're not doing this. It's only because your friends told you what to do. And then again, you let this other random woman tell you you're not gonna be a chef and look where you are now. Please, like, no, you're finishing this year. And I was like, that's not what I meant. And so, you know, I was kind of a bit angry because I'm like, I don't know how to express myself, and school has always been just a touchy subject with them. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll finish the year. My mom's like, well, you can look at other programs, but you're not dropping out of school. Fine. You know, I knew I liked to help people, but the social work itself was so broad that I didn't have an interest. I knew deep down I wanted to work with children and youth. I've had a lot of traumas in my own life, and I really thought that I could use those and relate it to somebody else who's going through that and to be able to help them. So I looked at programs, and I was going to do this child and youth care program. So then I applied to that one and I got in. I was like, yeah, this is great. And all the classes were based on what I needed to learn, and I was going to get actual training, and I was so excited. First year went by, it was honestly, it was like really good. I feel like I can look back and be like, yeah, it was awesome. I met amazing people, and like the courses themselves were really like, whoa. Not only were the content we were learning was really like hard to take in, but the personal things we learned, like self-awareness, I would have never understood what self-awareness was until that program. So even though I had dropped out, I'm really thankful for the things it's taught me. It's taught me the importance of self-care, self-awareness, learning about your triggers, a lot of useful things. I was going into my third year. I was like, no, mind you, it's a 4-year program. So like, I was almost done. I struggled a lot in my second year. When I started going to the school, I commuted, and then I would stay at my aunt's, and then I slowly moved into my aunt's apartment. I kind of felt alone. Apparently I did not handle the change very well. I look back now and I see, yeah, like I was struggling so much. I guess my pride, or I guess not wanting to admit I needed help, got the best of me, and I let it continuously build up till one day I just had a meltdown in public. Second year was really hard, and I didn't struggle academically. Like, I wasn't doing bad in my classes. More or less, I was struggling with the content, with being unmotivated. With all this change going on around me, it was just hard to be in that program. And at the same time, I didn't think this is what I wanted to do. I thought, you know, after second year was over, we're gonna have that summer break, that I was going to be able to to, you know, get back into it. You know, I thought it was just a little rut. I was wrong. So basically, I've been out for the last almost 6 months, and I'm gonna answer some of the questions. So the initial dropout, I was really struggling to be able to take care of myself mentally, and which led to not being able to take care of myself physically and emotionally and spiritually. And I really didn't like that I wasn't able to do that. Also, I wasn't sure if this is what I really wanted to do. You know, as much as I had all these ideas and I was really like, yeah, God wants me to do this, I got lost. And by the time I had to go back to school, I was like, yeah, this is not what I want to do. And I was really nervous to tell my parents about it, because they're gonna be like this, again? And I was really stressing. And I went to my first week of school, and man, I was just like, actually the first week of school I didn't really go. I went to 2 classes out of the 5 I had to go to. I just knew that I shouldn't be in this. I'm wasting time, I'm wasting money. What am I gonna do? And so I went home to visit. The whole entire weekend I was just like, I need to tell my parents. I wasn't gonna just drop out of school and then like not tell my parents, because my parents will find out. They have a way of finding things out. They should be PIs. I did not want to do it in a way that's gonna cause more problems for me. My mom was dropping me off at the bus station to go back to Toronto, and I was like, yeah, so I want to drop out. Just while we were having a conversation about something else, I just said that. My mom's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I want to drop out. I don't think this is what I want to do. And yeah, maybe my execution wasn't a good way to do it. Again, you know, I talked to myself, I'm like, I'm gonna be mature about this. I'm gonna talk to my parents, to only get scared and just say, yeah, I want to drop out. And so yeah, my mom's like, Tatiana, are you serious? Again? I'm like, Mom, I'm struggling. Like, I don't know what I want to do, and it's so hard. And it's not hard like academic hard. It's hard like on my mental state hard. Like, I don't know, it's killed any motivation to be creative. It's killed any passion that I had for it, and I'm lost, and I don't know what I want to do. My mom's like, well, it's your life, girl. You do what you gotta do then. At first, that was not the answer I wanted to hear, you know? Now, I could be recalling this wrong. Mom, comment down below if I am. She was just like, oh, whatever. I didn't feel like I was supported. Then I started to feel guilty, but then I said it. So the initial dropout was, my mom said to give it a week, think about it, and then drop out, if I was sure. But anyway, that was like the why and the thought process and kind of thing. And now I'm gonna answer some questions. Where did you find the courage to decide what you thought was best for you and drop out? That's a good question. I don't know if I necessarily had the courage. I mean, I was a bit timid with my parents, well, my mom. So I wouldn't necessarily say I had courage, I just knew I had to do it. How long did it take you to decide for sure that you were going to drop out? I guess the realization kind of hit a month before I had to go back. I became unsure of that, if that's what I wanted to do, or if I was just, you know, being lazy because school was never my thing, or just, you know, tired because, you know, I've been doing it for so long and I'm almost done kind of thing. Once I said the words out loud to my mom, that was when I realized, yeah, I gotta do it. How is it that the educational system pushed you out, and in which ways? Now, I don't think the educational system itself pushed me out. I do feel like this was a me thing, because the way the program was designed, I feel like it was designed really well. Honestly, it had nothing to do with the educational system. I always felt supported, and I had resources open for me, so I don't think it was that. I just think it was a personal thing. I didn't initially drop out until I had the support of my parents. I always felt supported. I feel like sometimes my mom and my dad are complete opposite. My dad sometimes feels like he's more supportive, and my mom sometimes feels like I sometimes get a reaction from her that's a bit of both. Like, she supports, but she's also like, no. And don't want you to hear what I'm not saying, Mom, or anybody. My parents are very supportive, but with the topic of school, because they never got to experience this post-secondary thing, they don't want me to be struggling like they have. When my mom was more supportive about school, I had a feeling my dad was going to be completely opposite. And not because my parents are opposite, because I feel like if they're not on the same page, someone's going to be opposite. So if my mom was like, okay, yeah, do it if you want, if this is what you want, do it, I was like, my dad's gonna lose it. And I was so scared to tell him. I was really hoping that my mom would tell him for me, because I didn't want to. After a week, I called my mom. I was on my way to work. I called my mom and I'm like, Mom, I really thought about it for a week. No distractions, no other people's opinions, even though I did that all before. I don't want to do it. And she goes, okay, I talked to your dad too. I was like, what did he say? And she goes, we just want you to be happy. Whoa, I didn't think I was gonna get emotional. Woo, guys. Oh, frick. And I wore makeup only so I knew I wouldn't cry, but my dad and herself just want me to be happy. They don't want me to be struggling. They realize how much my anxiety, my mental health has deteriorated. Oh my gosh, tears stinging. My biggest thing of why I wasn't going to drop out is if my parents weren't supporting me on it. I really didn't want to disappoint my parents. So if my parents were just like, no, we don't want you to do it, I wasn't going to do it. I was going to endure it if I needed to not disappoint them. But to hear that, oh my God. To hear that I had the support of my parents and they put me ahead of a degree was something like that. I don't know how to explain it. Just hearing that, I felt okay. I felt relieved that I wasn't going to disappoint them, you know? That they support my decision and they have my back. So that night I put in my withdrawal application and I dropped out. I'm sorry, I feel like I had this more organized on paper, but now it's all over the place. So how did your family and friends react to you dropping out? What were their opinions? Any pushback? Before I initially dropped out, I would ask my friends, and my friends, I got a, you know, not so much of a pushback, but you know, like trying to make me see like, hey, you're almost done, like why drop out kind of thing. My family reacted the way I had hoped and prayed for it, really. I feel like the reactions I experienced were really positive and I'm so thankful. What would your plan be instead of going to school? I don't have a plan. Actually, my plan was to figure out what it was that I love to do, get back into that, the things I enjoyed that motivated me. It's been 6 months and I'm still struggling. So I don't really have a plan yet. And a lot of people keep telling me that's okay. You legit just got out of school. You've been doing school for years, a few years now. So give yourself this time. Take as long as you need. School is always there. So yeah, I don't really have a plan, but I will answer that once I do. What positive, negative things have resulted from the decision to drop out? Well, I don't know necessarily what positive things have resulted in dropping out. There was a time when I had dropped out that my parents, well, most specifically my father, was just like, so what do you want to do? Have you applied? Have you looked at programs? And I understand that he wasn't doing it to be hurtful, but the pressure was on. I still felt like I had something due. Like my brain was still like in this constant state of worry. You know, I dropped out and I did feel relieved for a short period of time because, you know, in my brain, I thought that once I dropped out, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I thought it was going to be easy. 6 months into it, I noticed that it ain't easy at all. And I don't really know how other people experience this, dropping out of college and how they deal with it, because anyone that I've seen that drop out, they're doing great. And I don't think anyone's ever talked about the negative portions or the down part of what comes after you drop out. Because when I dropped out, I went into this wonderful, wonderful depression. I wrote some sticky notes. I had them on the wall, but they weren't sticking, so these are the sticky notes I wrote. The blue ones signify the positive feelings I felt. I was relieved. What now? What next? And these were all the negative feelings I felt. I'll read them. This was everything I was feeling during, afterwards, within the mix, I guess. Everything that was just running through my mind when deciding to drop out. What will my parents think? I was so scared that my parents would see me as a disappointment. They worked so hard to make sure I grew up in an environment that I would succeed in, to, you know, ensure that I knew how important education was. So I thought, you know, they thought that they failed. I felt lost. Now, before, during, let me tell you, it's a freaking feeling. How are you gonna pay off the debt with a job that you have now that can't even support you? I couldn't have felt that all in here, but that's how I felt. That's what I was thinking immediately after I dropped out. They give you a 6-month grace period to not pay back your student loan. And I was just like, yo, I can't even support myself now with my job I have. What am I going to do? I'm a loser. I spent the last 5 months comparing my life to other people who I went to school with, to other young people who display their lives on social media, that their life is going great. People in high school I graduated with are graduating or have full-time jobs already. And what am I doing? Working at Gap, and I dropped out and now I'm stuck paying rent when I could have just stayed home. And then this question came in. Did I make a mistake? Instantly, I regretted my decision because I thought that I was gonna have all the answers as soon as I dropped out of school and didn't have to worry about assignments. But I was wrong. What do I even want to do? Now, this could also be seen as something positive, but in the way that it was going through my brain, it was very negative. I felt stupid for not even knowing what I wanted to do, yet I dropped out of school, you know? Even though I knew in my thought process that I wanted to figure it out. We are our worst critics. We are the worst person to ourselves. Wow, I felt like a failure. Jeez. If I'm gonna be honest, I still feel like this. How am I a role model to my siblings? I have 5 younger siblings. I want to set an example for them. But man, the pressure is on considering I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I was depressed. Wow, I cried a lot and I was not expecting to cry, to be honest, but whatever. Man. Everything started to affect everything. It was so hard. I felt like a disappointment. Disappointment, that's all that was running through my head. How will I get a job? I mean, besides being employed right now, how would I get a real grown-up job? How would I get a job that will support me without an education? You'll never succeed now. You know, there was this pressure that I need to figure out what I want to do because I'm not getting any younger. But then older people would say, you're young, you have all the time in the world to figure it out. Go travel, go experience life, go challenge yourself, and you'll figure it out. And the scariest feeling or thought that I had through this entire season, I suppose, was just end it. I've been at that state to contemplate taking my life. And I knew the moment I thought that there was a problem and I needed to talk to somebody. Like I mentioned before, my dad just, you know, wanted to make sure that I would succeed. So I understand he was doing it from a place of a father looking out for his daughter, but he made me feel even worse. And when he would ask me about school, I just told him, I don't want to talk about it with you anymore. I just dropped out, leave me alone. My mom's only ever asked me once, and then I explained to my mom because I snapped, you guys just won't leave me alone. My mom's like, I've never asked you about school. I was just curious. It's been 2 months. I just wanted to know. And I explained to her about, you know, my dad, and my mom told my dad to back up and back off. And again, Dad, if you're watching, do not take it the wrong way. I was dealing with things, my own thoughts, that your input just wasn't helping. But it's okay. I'm okay, sorta. I think the only negative thing about all of this was just myself. I really tore myself apart in my own mind. And by doing this, it caused me to distance myself from my family, Cassandra, who was my roommate, my sister, my friends, my church family. So while I distanced myself, the people didn't even know what was going on with me because I didn't want to burden somebody else with my own problems. I'm just gonna take a breathe. A breath. Also too, the fact that my English has gotten even worse scares me enough that I need to go back to school. People were wondering if I had any tips. To be honest, I'm still trying to figure it out. Everyone was curious about my experience in the sense of my program. Honestly, I've met such wonderful people. We all come from different walks of life and we were all vulnerable and open with each other. And that's what's crazy. People you've never met were able to tell the deepest secrets and share that with each other. And know that it was in a space of love, support, and just a safe place. And I would never change that. I love you guys and thank you so much for doing life with me. And I only wish and hope for the best for you guys. Thank you for having my back, supporting me, checking in on me. I appreciate you guys a lot. This video was all over the place. Holy. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Fluff is, dust is everywhere. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You can expect more organized videos. And by more organized, that just means a better flow of things. Please do give this video a like. Comment down below if you have any other questions maybe I didn't answer. If you want a follow-up video once I have decided what I wanted to do. Also subscribe if you're new because this will be happening every Thursday. Also follow me on Instagram at molenda or just follow me on my socials. All the links are down below. I really would love to get connected with you guys. Again, thank you so much. I really poured my heart out in this video. As you've seen, I cried so much. I just hope we can do life together. Again, thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you guys next Thursday.